The Cigar Nerds Podcast.
And welcome to Cigar Nerds Podcast. I'm your host, Smoking Joe.
I'm Brad Jackson.
And I'm smoking the La Gloria Cubana Criollo de Oro. Whatever the something of the eye.
The corona of the eye.
There, I saw my eyes are itching. But this guy has a Connecticut broadleaf wrapper over Honduran and Nicaraguan binders and fillers. Oh no, correction. Wrapper is Dominican Criollo de Oro, so apparently that is a type of tobacco. The binder is Connecticut broadleaf, and the fillers are Nicaraguan and Honduran.
I think La Gloria Cubana used to do they had like the Type N or the Type R cigar that I liked. They were one of those that some of their stuff was good, but they were a little bit underpowered because they kind of went the route of traditional Cuban cigars, and those aren't the powerhouses that typically we smoke. I feel like we say this on every review.
These are more, at least more of the Glorias that I've had. Yeah, more of that traditional, which you might find a good like medium smoke out of it, but not nothing like what I would call super strong.
Well, I know something that is super strong.
Witches
and black masses.
That's kind of why I bought this, because there's a lady on the band, so I was like, that kind of looks like a witch.
Wow. Could it be any more sexist? How are we ever still? God, do we still have that one listener that follows us?
Hey, we're up to 372 followers on YouTube.
You mean you are?
You show up occasionally.
This one time,
you should come over and do a bunch of shorts or something, so you can be on the YouTube channel.
In my shorts.
Yeah, we'll do a shorts episode. Oh, but yeah, we're going to be talking about Agatha All Along, the new Disney Plus series. And if you've got to travel down the witch's road, you should call in the Strike Force. StrikeForceEnergy.com. Use your promo code CigarNerds for 20% off your order. Get all caffeinated and shit, and help you cast some spells. Or at least you get so caffeinated that you think you're casting spells and you're just really throwing gang signs. Like, Marvel's got to have like a whole like, acting class. Like, here's how you cast fucking magic and shit. And people throwing fucking Naruto ninja hand symbols and shit.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a choreographer or something for that. Or, maybe these people are legit witches.
Oh, shit.
I didn't see anybody do the float test in any of the trials.
You throw her in the water. If she floats, she's a witch. Or a duck. I'm a duck. So yeah, that's what we got for you this week. Stay tuned. And welcome back. It's time to get witchy. What's up, my witches?
I was expecting like some witchy woman or something like that.
Oh yeah, the classics.
Does that show my age? All right, so I guess before we jump into what Agatha All Along is, because I was lost as fuck. Because, dude, I watched something and like, if we don't talk about it immediately, like that ship has sailed.
You watch something, you just defrag the hard drive. It's like
exactly.
If it's more than 2 days, it's like I don't. That's
like,
the bad part when
so
we get
much...
into like spin-offs or second seasons and stuff. It's like, bro, I don't remember what fucking happened last season.
And I'm, especially with this, like, I didn't read all the comics. I'm not familiar with, Agatha and all of that shit. So
yeah, I have no idea. I'm not familiar with Agatha originally. Not familiar with Wiccan, which is the kid. Apparently, that's his name in the comic books. But I did watch it. I think we did an episode on like
I mean, I felt like I watched WandaVision. Why did we not?
Yeah. I think we did do an episode on that, but it was 2021 when that show came out.
So it's not just my lapse of, it's not like I watched it 3 months ago.
No, that was like 3 years ago. So yeah, it's like, and even there's some of those that I watched multiple times, but WandaVision, I liked it, but once you've seen it, you kind of...
But what if you don't remember seeing it? Is it like you actually watched it?
Then you can go back and watch it again. But I think it's like one of those that, like, once you know, like, the twist of it all, it's not as good. Like, it's not something that I want to rewatch because, I was interested trying to figure out the mystery of it all the first time around watching it. But now that I know what the fuck was going on, it's like I've not had any reason to go back and watch it again.
Until now.
Yeah.
So yeah, basically, this will pick up following, where Wanda's like, oh, what am I doing? Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, this is... I'm not sure of the time distance, and it may even say it in the show that it, like, starts off, like, a couple years from the end of WandaVision. Because I know it's, like... It's definitely past the events of Multiverse of Madness, because Wanda is supposedly dead at this point. Or
supposedly.
Maybe dead. Because
did we see a body?
No, we did not. We just saw like a mountain collapse on her. But again, you don't see a body. They doesn't necessarily mean... And I saw like some interviews with it might have been the director, but they were like, we were very specific about how we referred to Wanda. We never said dead. We said she was gone. And that was like from Marvel.
Well,
like,
I think Marvel was absolutely like, this is how you phrase this, which probably means they've got something else already in the works.
Yeah, I mean, we know fucking RDJ's coming back as Doctor Doom, and we're getting that Avengers Secret Wars. And now that we know that, reincarnation is kind of a thing that yeah. All Wanda's apparently got to do to not die is find an unoccupied body.
I mean, really, that's all any of us has got to do. Just move right on in.
Yeah. I mean, hell, Professor X did it in fucking X-Men movies.
I think that's...
So it's not like it's not happened before in the Marvel universe.
I hate to say it, dude. But with all the TV series and everything else, like, I think I'm starting to get, like, superhero burnout. Like, there's no lull, There's always a thing to try to, capture or, whatever. And I'm just like, I need a break.
They've kind of done, I mean, because for a while they were getting, like, 4 movies a year, and... Now they've kind of slowed down, and even like Feige's like, hey, we're going to start concentrating more on quality over quantity after whatever the Marvels didn't do too well. Like I say, and this one was might have been a risk because it's a series about a character that not huge, but I like Kathryn Hahn as a actress. Like, she's always fun to watch do shit, so it's like, yeah, I'll give this a try because I like her as an actor, and her is fucking just over the top as like damn Agatha is like, all right, this shit's fun. Like, like everything else seems like there's like huge life or death stakes. And yeah, people did die in the series, but it also seemed like it didn't take itself a whole lot serious. There was a lot of like fun stuff going on in this series.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm usually not one to get wrapped up in reviews, but the reviews for this have been wildly, positive, where folks is like, yeah, this is the direction, Marvel should be going. And I'm like, I don't know what direction it is because I'm confused as fuck.
Yeah, I did see one meme, and it was that scene from Multiverse of Madness where it's like, I did the same thing you did, but I'm like vilified for it. Like, how is that fair? But it was Star Wars and Marvel. And it was like, I made a show about lesbian witches and everyone hated me for it. And you make a show about lesbian witches and everyone loves you for it. How is that fair? Because it was better fucking written than goddamn Alkalite. I don't care if you're going to make a show about lesbian witches. Just make it. Fucking write it well.
Yeah, I don't. Me personally, I don't care one way or the other. Whatever, Bi-curious witches are even better.
And I mean,
that means they go for both teams.
And freaking Audrey Plaza is her love interest there. I'm like, I understand. We all need a goth hottie now and then. It's like, totally can't fault you, Agatha, for trying to hit that. Even though it turned out she was the actual embodiment of death. I mean, I guess that makes her the ultimate goth girlfriend. You can't get more goth than death.
Or can you? What's beyond death?
Beyond death. Second.
That's her stage name.
Death and Beyond. Bed, Bath, Death, and Beyond.
Deathbed.
Well,
I'm doing so terrible this episode.
Dude, I'm on so much coffee because like normally I don't record straight after getting off work, so it's like my brain is just like my undiagnosed ADD is like,
I just played
bouncing from topic to topic.
Traffic for an hour and a half to get here, and I'm like, I'm not decompressed at all or anything. I don't know, man.
So what do you think of that first episode? Because it was kind of crazy. I was like, what the fuck is this? Because if you'll remember from the end of WandaVision, which WandaVision, Wanda created her own reality that was like based off of freaking sitcoms and shit. And at the end of it, when she realized Agatha was like fucking with her, she like basically freed everyone else and then like locked her in to like her own like reality of her being like, you're not gonna hurt witches anymore. Like, I'm like, locking you in this fictional character you created. So apparently she now believes she's like a hard-nosed detective in some kind of like detective drama. So this show starts off as like, I'm like, is this going to be the whole series? Like weird ass detective drama thing? Because it's like, there was no like, hey, here's what we're doing. It's like, you just jump straight into like fucking episode of the X-Files and shit. And it was like, it's kind of cool, but what the fuck is going on here?
I mean, I personally would like a reality where, people just randomly walk out of their house butt-ass naked and, oblivious to those around them. And, like, I need advice.
Oh, yeah. I do like that, because eventually, like, she's trying to solve a weird-ass murder, and she got this, like, Fed that comes to visit her, who's, Audrey Plaza at this point, and then she catches this kid breaking into her house and like freaking interrogate him. She's like, "Why do you keep staring at the what are you talking about? There's a painting there." You slowly get that like no one else sees what she's saying, like, but everyone else is actually real. So when she finally manages to, or the kid like starts saying some magic words and like puts a crack in the spell so she can finally wake up, and she's like, just walks out the house naked, like, what the fuck is going on? And like, turns out like everyone else in the town like was not part of her delusions, and they just all just played along. Like this fucking town, like poor people in this town, they're like, all right, we got this crazy fucking witch, but we don't want like Wanda to come back, so yeah, everyone just like pretend like feed her fucking delusions. Like, she's walking around town all day, like, solving fake crimes, and everyone else is, like, just playing along with her.
God, it's like modern reality.
Like, I want to see that, like, episode where it's, like what everyone else in the town saw. That would be a good, like, one of those, like, Marvel one-shots or whatever. Where we're just see that first episode from, like, everyone else's perspective, where, like, she's just walking around being, like, crazy as shit, thinking she's a detective, and everyone else is just like, yeah, Wanda, you should definitely do that.
Yeah. That's a lot like modern reality. Let's all just play pretend. If it makes you feel good.
But yeah, then yeah, she finds the kid, like, locked in her closet, and she's like, oh, I wasn't hallucinating you. And, like, part of that actually happened. It's like, I thought you were in, like, lock up at the precinct. Like, no, literally, I, like, tied you up, threw you in my fucking pantry.
The teenage familiar.
He did kind of remind me of a cat. Or, I mean, his name is, well, at this point in the series, his name is Teenager, because he's got some kind of hex on him where you can't tell people his actual...
It's a sigil, Joe. A sigil. Did you even watch the episode?
I did, but I defragged the hard drive afterward. Now I can't remember shit.
That's about all I'm going to be able to tell you about.
Yeah. But yeah, so you don't know what his actual name is, but...
And he can't tell you his name either.
But you remember, like, the dead guy, like, wasn't that from the, what the fuck, Hocus Pocus, wasn't that guy named Billy?
Maybe. Dude, I think I've formatted my brain. I don't remember shit about shit anymore.
So I remember a lot of shit, but, like, it's like a hard drive with no file, file tabs. It's like, information's in there. It's just gonna come up randomly.
We need to run an indexing service.
Yeah. Can't search it. It just comes up randomly.
There's a lot of data, but no base.
Yeah. So when Aubrey Plaza, a.k.a. Rio, is like, cool, you got your memory back. I can kill you now. He's like, wait. Hold up. I ain't got no powers, bitch. And, if you want to fight me, when I'm my strongest. You want to fight me when I'm weakest, do you? Like, all right, fine. I'll give you a couple days to recover before I come back and kick your ass. With no explanation of that, like, relationship dynamic at the start of it. But later on, we find out she's more than what she says she is.
I feel like there should have been dramatic music or something right there.
I keep saying we gotta get a soundboard.
That's another thing I'm going to have to remove. I don't do good pressing the buttons as it is. I'm going to be like, oh, that was the cat. That was the wrong button.
Meow. Oh. But yeah, you get the reason the kid is teenager, aka future Billy, as we'll find out.
Spoilers? I didn't get that far.
You did finish the last episode, didn't you?
I mean, I watched the first, the middle. No.
It's like doing a book report. Read a couple of the front chapters, a couple of the back chapters, maybe
well,
one
see,
in the
I
middle.
already fucked up because, I tried to power through the season without once visiting the wiki. And the wiki probably would have guided me so much more than me trying to be like, okay, I got 30 minutes. I can get, oh, fuck, this episode's 49 minutes. Damn it.
Yeah, we need, like, the equivalent of a kill count for the Marvel Universe for when we're like, all right, let me go back and, like, watch this quick synopsis so I know what the fuck's going on. Or at least, like, a quick synopsis of the thing that came previously, now that we've been building on this shit for, like, 10 years.
It's just too much. I mean, I get it for the folks that, are familiar with the comic series or, whatever, but, this is a character way out of left field. Like, I enjoyed the series. I was not one that was like, by and large, the reviews have been like overwhelmingly positive. And people's like, yeah, this is the direction Marvel should go. And I'm like, I just need the one-offs. Like, all these tie-ins from a decade ago and all this other shit, like...
Well, that's the thing. I think that's one of the reasons, like, the Marvels failed so miserably was the fact that they established 2/3 of the characters on the TV series. So there was like a big swath of people that like, I don't know what the fuck's going on. I don't know who the fuck these people are, because there's some people like my wife. She watches all the movies but has not watched any of the Disney
I do
Plus
so
series.
much better with the movies than I do the series because, like the movies, like, okay, whatever, a couple hours here, but, you start running to that 8-9 hours, like... It's hard for me to find, that fucking 8-9 hours, that I can just devote to screen time without, all right, well, there's laundry, there's dishes, there's all this other shit that I need to do because I have no work-life balance.
But yeah, I think there's like plenty of people that are just movie fans and don't watch any of the Disney Plus stuff that were like confused when
and
the
it
Marvels
doesn't
came out.
help the Disney case either that now I got to put up a fucking ads. And they're just random as fuck. It'll be like, oh, this pivotal moment, and great deodorant. Like, just completely, like, takes you out of them. I'm like, but I'm not giving you any more money, Disney. In fact, that price increase hits. I'm going to be talking to retention and probably canceling that because I don't watch enough of it.
That's probably the one that I will keep, because I watch a lot of Disney Plus stuff, because they release series fairly regularly. Like, I'm definitely canceling my HBO, though, because like I watch that once every 3 months.
I don't even know what HBO has anymore. Like, I think I had it for Godzilla or something. And
I originally got it when things were going straight to streaming during the plague, and then the DC stuff started hitting there, so I was like, I think the last thing I watched was Peacemaker, and then Last of Us was Last of Us was HBO, wasn't it, or was it Prime? But yeah, I don't think I've watched anything on there since like The Last of Us. So something good's gonna have to come out before I re up that subscription. Because yeah, like Netflix and Disney Plus, I watch like usually pretty regularly. There's at least something once a month that I watch on there, but yeah, the HBO is slowly getting like, why am I still paying for this? Because I haven't activated it in like a month and a half.
Yeah, I don't know. Hulu was the same way for me, which we both said that this is what was going to happen, is everything's going to have a streaming service, and like, you're essentially going to be in the same boat whether you try to cut the cord or not cut the cord. Like,
but now you can also, like, a lot of the things you can, if you want just that thing, you can buy it. I mean, they released The Mandalorian on Blu-ray, so I mean, if you don't have a streaming service, you're like, I don't want to watch that thing, you can usually like go on Amazon or somewhere and buy just that series.
And sadly, like, I'm missing that. Like, and it's the same thing with games where it's like, yeah, pay a monthly subscription for a thing that we'll take from you when we, decide to take it from you, and you never actually own a thing.
Yeah.
It's like, all you've done is permanently lock me into a rental. No. Like,
yeah,
3 years from now, when it's
the
like...
The last thing I watched on HBO was the new Flash movie. Because there's like a couple of those DC things, I'm like, DC's hit or miss. I don't want to see this in the theater. So like, yeah, I watched them when they hit HBO Max, but other than that, yeah, I haven't watched anything since that Flash movie. So I'm like, yeah, it's time to remove that one from my lineup. But yeah, so Billy's thing is he's wants to. His motivations are unclear at the start, but supposedly there's this thing called the Witch's Road, that if you can make it down the Witch's Road and pass all the trials, you will get basically one wish, whatever thing you need, the Witch's Road will give it to you if you make it through the end. And supposedly, Agatha's one of the few people who survived the Witch's Road. So he's like, I saved you. I broke your spell. Like, you owe me one. Like,
join me on an adventure.
Yeah, you can get your powers back. You know, that's the thing you want. I want something that I'm not telling you about yet. So they're like, well, we have to have a coven to do this. So now we get like a recruiting montage.
And that to me actually is when the series got more interesting, because the different personality dynamics, and that's when it really kind of became fun. Like,
yeah, I mean, you've got Patty LaPone as Lily, who's like the kind of fleshing out the I guess the powers of the witches. You're like, oh, we need certain people for certain things. So we need a divination witch, like someone who sees the future, and then we need a potions witch, and we need a green witch, which is apparently like, feels like they were building a D&D campaign. You know?
I mean, you gotta have, somebody needs a DPS, a tank, a healer.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and the protection witch.
Although I gotta say, like, tarot readings at a bar mitzvah, I didn't realize were a thing.
Hell, I'm pretty sure I went into like, been getting into tea, so I went to like a weird ass tea shop, and it turned out to be like, it was very Agatha All Along, because it was a witch's tea and magic shop. So like the first room's all tea, and then the next room is like, they're doing like tarot readings and books on
probably
magic,
like
and
the tea leaf
readings
and
fucking different incense and
where
shit.
was that at?
It's like right off the square. You know where the growler place is in Dahlonega?
Yeah.
It's like right next door to that. It's like just off the square.
I mean, I actually kind of like places like that,
They had a lot of like just nifty stuff in there. I was like
I would never actually use it for like ritual purposes or anything, but oftentimes I find some cool decorations or artwork or something else, and I'm like, I don't know what this is paying homage to or anything, but
but yeah, you can
it's gonna go on my wall now.
Some magic cards and some tea while you're there.
I'm surprised they don't do like the tea leaf readings.
I'm pretty sure they did, because there was like one room that said something like whatever. I don't think it was anyone in there doing it when I was there, but it looked like they had an area set up for some kind of either crystal ball, tarot readings, or whatever. But yeah, apparently you could also get some magic going on while you were there. I was like, I just want my tea. I don't know what else is going on around here, but
is it magic tea? Did you drink your tea and start a vision quest?
Oh shit! I bought the wrong kind of tea. In fact, we're not recording today. I'm just in my room tripping balls.
Wait a second. Why am I here?
I got the mushroom tea.
It's also melty.
Speaking of which, because apparently all that shit's like somewhat legal now. There was like an ad on YouTube for like some kind of drink that was cannabis and mushroom infused energy drinks or some kind of drink.
Oh, they have there's a liquor store there at the roundabout behind the outlet mall, and they have some kind of THC type beer or something, and I'm like, that's got to be terrible. Like, I already don't like IPAs, like, and I'm not a fan of the taste of cannabis either. Like, that was just never a thing that really.
But it is very hop adjacent.
Yes.
I could see where that you could do a beer with that, because if you smell like hops, it does kind of can have that skunky smell to it. That.
But I'm like, I already don't like this thing, so no, I'm not interested. Like,
get some THC stouts.
No.
Call it stoner stout.
I just, I'm just not a stoner, dude. Like, it doesn't. I'm too fucking active, and I gotta be on my P's and Q's. Like,
do the cocaine. So yeah, apparently the magic spell to open the Witch's Road is this song that gets stuck in your fucking head because they sing that goddamn thing just about every episode. Like especially like
the Witch's Road.
Especially the last episode, man. I'm like walking around the house going down the witch. Fuck, it's shit stuck in my head. So be warned before you watch this show that you will get a damn earworm.
I hope if you're watching this show, you're not this far into the podcast. All has been ruined. There are no surprises for you.
And I liked kind of the one-off nature of the, like, you know, they sing the song, they open the gate, and they proceed on down the yellow brick road. Very
well, I mean, even, you know, some of the witches look very Wizard of Oddish.
But yeah,
Ozzes.
each episode, each challenge has like a different like theme to it. So like the first one, it's very like preppy, like mansion on a beach type thing, and they're all like, you know, suddenly
Drink this wine.
Yeah, drink this wine. Oh, guess what? You've now been poisoned. You've got a certain amount of time to come up with a cure, and like, and basically you got, you know, the Divinity Witch who's like just a little bit, you think she's crazy, and then the Potions Witch is like she got bound at some point. Anyone who's watched the movie Charmed familiar with that. So she's lost her powers, but then the kid is like, hey, it's like I like the concept of like analog magic. Like, no, like there's like shit like, you know, spells and like mixing potions is just fucking chemistry. You don't have to have powers to do what they call like analog magic. I was
You
like,
just gotta pour things, and you know.
So it's like, yeah, just like, you know, figure out the fucking recipe.
I never figured out the recipe. I'm dead.
But yeah, you had the potions challenge, and then you had the challenge where like suddenly they're in like a rock studio from the from the 60s. We got to put a band together to play this magical song that will protect us from this like fucking fire demon thing that, like, I mean, that was metal as fuck when the winged fire gargoyle thing tries to kill them all.
I did like that, you know. It was like through the eras, minus Taylor Swift.
And then they get the one where it's like, oh, y'all in an 80s like camp movie.
Although there was a, you know, could have done a tribute to the greatest song in the world.
It's not the greatest song in the world. It's just a tribute.
That's where I would have went with it, but obviously I'm not a writer for Marvel.
I mean, it could have been more metal. I mean, it was all right, but like, yeah. You've got little Death there playing the drums, man. It should have been more metal.
Woman, see how high she flies.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And so they're like, we need one more witch. He's like, oh yeah, I know who we need. And like, she just goes snatches like her neighbor off the street, who's like definitely not a witch, and it's the mom from that '70s show. And I love her, like, so confused. She's just like down to like, y'all kidnapped me, but this is fun. This is like, I don't know what the hell's going on here, but it's kind of fun little adventure until she, you know, fucking dies. But so they're like, we need a replacement witch. We can summon someone while we're on the road, and of course they summon Aubrey Plaza, who turns out to be the original Green Witch, as she says, who's revealed to be Lady Death, who's like the literal like Grim Reaper of the Marvel universe, who also dated like Deadpool and Thanos in the comic books.
She gets around.
Yeah.
How does that work? I mean, I guess if you got regenerative properties, like, you're good.
Yeah. I think that's one of the reasons why in the comics she was like obsessed with Deadpool, is because he couldn't die, and she's kind of intrigued her. You're getting some real freaky shit without without him dying. But I do like her makeup when they reveal her as Death, where it's like just like freaking lower half of her face is all skeletal and shit. And it's like it looked kind of like Candy Skull looking shit. I'm like, all right, that's pretty fucking metal.
I just like the concept of the trial because all throughout life, growing up, I thought quicksand was going to be a much more common occurrence.
Yeah, TV
So
shows
the
from
fact
the 80s,
that they,
definitely.
encountered, quicksand.
Yeah, it's like if you step off the road, you get like it's like the swamps from Princess Bride.
It's like the never-ending story.
Yeah. Oh.
Only you don't really care if they die, which is kind of weird.
But yeah, you get like
I kind of cared about, watching that 70s show. It's like, oh, it's Kitty.
yeah,
She can't die. Oh, she died.
yeah, she didn't make it through like fuck, it was like episode 2. But yeah, the 80s camp fucking we got to pull out the Ouija board and contact the dead. And then of course our protection witch gets her powers sucked by Agatha while she's possessed. Alice Wu Gulliver was her name, played by Ali On. And then you get the tarot card trial where it's like suddenly they are legitimately the fucking like Disney witches. Like Agatha's like fucking Wicked Witch from Wizard of Oz, and Billy is like whatever her name is from Snow White.
I got nothing.
It's
She had 7 dwarves.
It's Mal something. Fuck, what is the goddamn name? Maleficent. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, he's Maleficent. Like Agatha's like the Wicked Witch from Wizard of Oz. And then when Jen and Lily show up, like Jen's like the good witch Glinda, and then Jen, who's like, when they find her, she's like a social media makeup influencer, and she's suddenly like the old hag from Sleeping Beauty, and they're like, "What the hell are you dressed as?" She's like, "I don't want to talk about it. It's like, I'm not happy with this." She's all about like beauty and shit, and like suddenly she's the old hag. I do like to reveal that like Lily's not actually crazy. She's just lives life out of time. So she's like kind of just hopping. So like at a certain point she's like, "Oh, I've not lived this yet," or I've already. They're like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" She's like basically the reason why she knows the future is because she's like literally like is like hopping through her own timeline and like existing. She's like, time's an illusion. Like everything is happening everywhere all at once. Like that movie. And I gotta say, she had the most gangster fucking death. Because they're also being pursued by basically zombie witches that hate Agatha because they're like the first coven that she killed. So they call them like the Salem 7, that they're like these weird ass zombie witches. So like, she shows up, fucking aces the trial and shit, and realizes like, oh, I've reached the end of my timeline. This is where I die. So she like looks at everybody and she's like, "Kid, here's some key information. Jen, here's like some key information. Agatha, when she calls you a coward, hit the deck." And like just like fucking gives everybody like, stuff that will save them later on. It's dangerous to go alone. Here, take this with you. And then she like shuts the door and is like, "Hey everybody, because they're in this room with like fucking swords hanging from the ceiling." She's like, "One thing I know about the Witch's Road is like once you complete the trials, you got to move on. It doesn't like if you hang around because something might happen." Like, whips open a tarot card like the tower upside down and literally like flips the whole room and all the zombie witches fall on the swords. And like, I was like, that's gangster as fuck. She's like, "I'm taking all you motherfuckers with me."
Yeah, I really like that kind of tarot scene, and it's like, haha, upside down the swords fall to me, but the tower upright, you fall on the swords. and so do I. Long, scary falling montage.
But then we also get that episode where it's revealed Teen's real name is Billy, a.k.a. Billy Maximoff, son of the Scarlet Witch. And then we get a whole, like, back episode where it's like, you see him, like, he actually met all these people before the Witch's Road thing, where he was, like, he was a kid named William who, like, as you said, was getting a tarot reading at his bar mitzvah, and it was Lily, and then he, like, had watched Jen on, like, YouTube or whatever doing her makeup fucking tutorials, and they lived in the town next to Westview, and Alice was one of the cops there, so, like, he had, like, had these run-ins with everybody, but there was a bad car accident when the Wanda's hex fell apart, and he essentially dies, and then at that same point, these, like, this basically soul that Wanda had created, but when she shut down the spell, everyone's physical form dissipated. And, you know, since this kid died at the same time that collapsed, like, his soul just, like, jumped into this unoccupied body, which, lucky for him, the guy was also named William. So it's like, hey, I can get used to calling myself William instead of Billy. All right, I can get away with this shit.
That's got to be crazy, though, like, you know, hearing everybody's thoughts and everything else and being like, dude, that shit would drive me mad.
Yeah, and it's like, am I going crazy? Is this because I had, like, a bad head injury in this accident? Why am I hearing people's voices and shit? And then him and his boyfriend go to, like, we found a guy on the internet that supposedly has information about what happened in Westview. And it's homeboy Ralph Boner from WandaVision, which was the fake brother that Agatha, like, you know, put him in there just to kind of spy on Wanda. And he's like, dude, like, I was enslaved by this fucking crazy witch lady named Agatha. Like, y'all don't want to fuck with her. She's like, you know, and that's kind of how Agatha gets on his radar. It's like, well, if anyone knows what the fuck happened to me and how I'm in this body, and also, like, his whole purpose of going down the road is not to, like, bring his mother back. He's like, you know, she's gone, and hell, I've got this whole new family, and they treat me like, you know, their kid, so I'm cool, but I had a brother. I woke up in this body. I don't know what happened to my brother, so I want to go down the Witch's Road to figure out what happened to my brother. See where he reincarnated at. And apparently he's got, you know, his mama's flair for the magics. Well, I feel they're kind of building up the Young Avengers, because we've already got kind of the new Hawkeye lady. We've got the young Black Widow. We've got young Miss Marvel, and now we've got Wiccan. I think we're eventually going to get like a Young Avengers series.
Can we just bring back animation?
Well, we got a new season of Marvel's What If coming out.
I mean, I did like the What If series, you know, just the different twist and that sort of thing. And then, you know, even this, you know, had its own twist that we'll get into shortly. But, you know, it just... I'm tired of time jumping.
There's a lot of... And what's up with Marvel? Like they've... No one's actually a bad guy in the Marvel universe. It's like Loki got this whole redemption arc, and now he's like a good guy. And Agatha's...
I blame you, because you're always like, I like a villain that I can relate to, that, you know, you kind of can align with.
Like a villain that doesn't... In their mind, they're not the bad guy. You know, but you get a little bit of like... Agatha's definitely done some horrible shit, but then you kind of start, like, by the end of it, like, all right, I kind of get what you're doing. And she's kind of learned to be nice, but, like, she's kind of like, this kid's growing on me, and I kind of want to help him. And like even they get to like the final challenge, and it's just like the three of them, and it's like, all right, I'm trapped in this weird basement, and we've got to grow a seed. But like, you know, it figures out that you know, Jen was like, oh, I don't know how this, like, I was basically using my magic to like help people as a doctor, and this doctor like somehow stole my magic. He's like, I don't know how he did it because he wasn't a witch. And he's like, oh, you were in Boston in the like, you know, 1880s or whatever? Huh, weird. He's like, how the fuck you know that? It's like, all right, I kind of sold some magic back in the day, you know, make a little money. She's like, bitch, you're the one that bound me. So she's like, you know, able to like, you know, break the spell and get her powers back, which that transported her out of the witch's road. And then Agatha like literally like, you know, walked Billy through like, hey, here, find your brother. Cool. Now find him a body. And, you know, put that body in that, you know, put him in that body, and then he goes away. And then she's like there by herself, but she's got to like finally, she's got the seed, but there's no water. She's like actually has to feel something, feel bad about something, and cry to like grow the fucking seed.
I would have just pissed on it. This is my piss pod.
Yeah, and the whole thing, there's like this rumor that like Agatha had a child, and like the rumors always like, oh, she's so evil, she traded her child for the Darkhold and all her powers and shit. And then you find out like, no, the kid just fucking died. It's like he's like, yeah, sometimes people die. It's like it was the fucking 1800s. He had like from the looks of it, probably tuberculosis, and like almost died in childbirth. And, you know, and death shows up. She's like, no, don't do it. And she's like, I can't save him. All I can do is give you time. Like I'll give you time, but yeah, he's still gonna die eventually. And Agatha's power is she like basically other witches attack her, and she is a succubus. She like drains their energy. And but anyway, before we get into that, that's like the final. We back it up to like, you know, they all get off the witch's road, and the kid goes back home. And then it starts like, or well, Agatha gets up and Death is like, I'm here for you, bitch. And she's like, no, we made a deal. Like, I get the kid to voluntarily give you his life, and you leave me alone. She's like, well, you're going to die eventually. Like, yeah, but when I do, I don't want to fucking see your face. I want you to like leave me the fuck alone. Like, I'll be a ghost, I guess. And then, you know, kid shows up and is like, hey, I got this cool suit. And, we're friends now, so here, have some power. Just don't drain it all. And sure enough, she like just takes enough to recharge and doesn't kill him. And they try to fight Death, and you know, he tries to sacrifice himself. And she's like, see, hey, I got him to say it. Our deal is done, but no, I'm not gonna let you do this, kid. I'm gonna make out with Death and die myself. And then he goes home, and he's like, and then starts looking around the room, and it's like, wait a minute. All the things that we saw in the Witch's Road are things that are here in my bedroom. Even like the fucking Wizard of Oz diorama and shit. And then like fucking ghost Agatha shows up. It's like, hey buddy, what's up? Like, what the fuck? He's like, oh yeah, like we find out that like basically like she had the kid, and it starts draining witches to try to stay alive and try to figure out, I guess, get enough power to like save him, but she can't. And then after he dies, she's so guilty that she let him die that she starts like draining witches just to maintain her life, so she never has to like face him in the afterlife. But like, yeah, like literally like the whole Witch's Road song is something that her and her kid came up with to sing as they're like walking down the road, and it became like famous, and all these witches like thought it was real and was like, hey, like, you know the Witch's Road song? Like, I need things. She's like, all right, well, we got to put together a coven. And it's like all the fucking scam. And you see her like scamming people like through the centuries, like draining them. And it's like, and he's like, yeah, kid, like you inherited your mother's like reality thing. Like the Witch's Road didn't become real until you fucking created it. Like literally, I was going to drain all these bitches in my basement. But like somehow you opened the fucking gate. And like, so I like, and you see that in like when it showed it, like how she was like, just to surprise the rest of them, like, shit, the shit worked.
Yeah. Plot twist.
And then he immediately feels guilty. He's like, oh my god, I killed like all these witches. And she's like, yeah, but actually, if it makes you feel better, I killed what's her name, and I was gonna kill all these ladies like in my basement, but you managed to save one. Like Jen got her powers back, and she's off doing whatever she's doing. So it's like shit happens, kid. You didn't. I've killed way more witches than you, so you're good. You've only killed like 2, and Lily sacrificed herself, so yeah. I wouldn't be too guilty about that. Just blame me. It's all good.
Blame the ghost that nobody can see.
Yeah, and then he tries to like banish her, and you finally get her like motivation. She's like, no, like the reason why I don't want to go to wherever is I feel guilty for not saving my son, and I can't face him with all the evil I've done because he was actually a good kid, and I don't want him to know that I like spent centuries just fucking vampiring damn witches and shit. So like, please don't send me to the afterlife. Please, Billy.
Damn it, Bobby. I mean, Billy.
And he's like, all right, I could use a literal spirit guide. So maybe you can hang out for a little bit. We can be a coven of 2. And she's like, careful. You know what? I usually kill my coven. He's like, yeah, apparently so do I. So don't fuck with me. I won't fuck with you, bitch.
We die together.
Ride or die. She's like, all right, let's go find your brother. And now we're going to and then he makes a nice little, closes the gate to the witch's road he created and made a nice little memorial plaque for the people they lost along the trail. I do like when Death goes back and like you see her, she's like literally like the Grim Reaper of the Marvel universe. She goes back and finds Alice's body and like she's like, oh my god, like that's it, I'm done. And she's like, I just broke my family curse, like like, am I really dead? She's like, well, you're a protection witch, right? And she's like, yeah. She's like, well, you died protecting people. You've completed your
purpose.
Your purpose. Like, now let me take you to the field of reeds or wherever, go hang out with like, Moon Knight in the afterlife or whatever the fucking witch's afterlife is. Since now apparently we know Marvel has several different afterlives.
Is this going to lead us into Marvel Zombies?
I hope so. Well, we'll get to that in news. We got some trailers. Now, I just want the Midnight Suns. Like, that's got to be a thing. Now that we've got, like, magic and shit in the Marvel Universe. Need me some a team up of, like, Moon Knight and Ghost Rider and... Apparently, because like I said, I'm not familiar with these characters, but the Jen lady who survived is supposedly Johnny Blaze's sister or cousin or something like that. So she's related to the OG Ghost Rider. So maybe we'll get some. I mean, we got whatever Robbie Reyes and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but I want some old school Johnny Blaze Ghost Rider showing up.
Yeah, that would be pretty badass. I've always been a big fan of the Ghost Rider shit. That I do know.
Yeah, I mean, Midnight Suns is like Moon Knight, Blade, freaking Ghost Rider. It's like the Paranormal Avengers.
The Riders on the Storm.
Riders on the Storm. So what do you think? You think we're gonna find out Wanda's still kicking somehow? She's just laying low.
Yeah, I do believe that.
Maybe season 2 in the quest to find Timmy or Tommy or whatever the fuck the other brother's name was, we'll come across a.
I mean, like I said,
Wanda.
I can't really fault the series. It was all, just my lack of time and everything else, like, for not getting, more involved with this season and that sort of thing. Like, I see where people are coming with the positive reviews. Me, I just didn't know enough about the fucking backstory or remember enough about WandaVision to try to piece all the, fucking puzzle together. And
I think, too, because as much as I don't like having to go back to, like, watching things week to week, it kind of gives me a chance to like digest what I've saw and like maybe Google the things I didn't understand. Whereas usually like time wise, you end up waiting until it's all the way out and then try to burn through it in like a day or two.
And the other thing too, it's like, you know, I don't know. All I'm gonna do is make up excuses for lack of fucking time, but like, I want to watch something to be entertained without being like, fuck, I need to go back and study and, you know, refamiliarize myself with all of the notes and all these other things, and then be like, now I need to rewatch this thing now that I understand all of this. And I'm like, I just want to fucking be entertained without having to feel like I need to study for a fucking essay.
Yeah, that's some of these things too. It's like when you binge it, and then it takes like 2 or 3 years to get like the next season out, and you're like, fuck, I don't remember what the fuck happened last season. Now I have to go back and like look for a recap or rewatch at least the last couple episodes to figure out where the fuck we're going on. I just finished watching the new season of Legend of Vox Machina, and I'm like, first couple I'm like completely fucking lost. I'm like, what the hell happened last season? I gotta go back and look, because it's like it's been so long since I watched that season 2 that I'm like, I'm kind of lost on season 3.
I'm lost, and it's not even season 3. But I mean, overall though, like, you know, folks should definitely give this a chance. You know, I mean, but without seeing a body, and knowing that all things Marvel is a money grab.
And now we know Ghosts are in the
she's
Marvel
not
universe,
dead,
so we can definitely get a fucking Ghost Wanda showing up like Obi-Wan Kenobi and shit.
They would never do that. They would absolutely do that.
I gotta say, Ghost Agatha though, it was a good look. I like the
the effects and everything was good.
yeah, and even like the set design and all this, like all the stuff on the Witch's Road, like looked really fucking cool. I mean, even the when the zombie witches showed up and started attacking them and shit. I mean, that shit was like, oh, this would be a legit fucking horror movie. I mean,
That's what I would like to see. I would like to see them take some of the effects and just go, you know, almost true horror with it. You know, get some of the old school, you know, fucking gritty comic shit going.
yeah, I mean, we mentioned that when we talked about Multiverse of Madness. I mean, it definitely had some horror elements in it. That, like, it being directed by Sam Raimi. But yeah, I literally want to see like a legit horror movie. I mean, maybe Blade could be that if we ever get the Blade movie, because that keeps getting delayed. But yeah, like I'd like to see Marvel try to do like a legit horror story. I mean, we got what Werewolf by Night was kind of a touch on that, but yeah, let's get like full like hard like. I mean, you're making R-rated Marvel movies now that Deadpool is part of the fold. Like, yeah, let's go like real, like, even if it's a one-off, it's like, all right, this is like basically like a Legends story. This is not part of the continuity. We're just gonna this is a one-off special we're doing. Nothing that happens here affects the rest of the universe. Fucking Doctor Strange shows up and snaps that shit out of existence. But yeah, let's do it like a legit, even if we had to do it animated, fucking Marvel horror movie. That would be dope. Wolverine versus zombies.
Yeah, like, just, I don't know. To me, that would be...
That brings up a question. Could Wolverine become a zombie? I mean, he has a healing factor, so if he gets bit by a zombie, does his healing factor prevent zombieism?
I kind of think so.
So yeah, Wolverine would like run a fucking zombie apocalypse. He'd be like the last man standing. He's like, I'm immune to you motherfuckers. It's like him and X-23 just roaming the fucking wastelands.
Just
and
murking.
Deadpool. Yeah, it's like Deadpool, Wolverine, X-23. Like everyone else is like fucking zombified and shit.
We'd definitely have a zombie pool.
I mean, we got Headpool, which is pretty much zombie Deadpool.
head pull, but he's only after your brain. But yeah, that's what I would like to see. You know, just a little bit more one-off, and I don't know. You know, this was one of those shows that's for the diehards, and I'm not a diehard. Like,
No.
I just, you know, I have to accept that. Like,
I mean, with the Loki, we've got, the multiverse exists, so it's like, yeah, we could do like a horror universe, Marvel horror universe that is just like one random ass like, thread that Loki allows to still exist.
well, and I think too, like, you know, following the cusp of like a Terrifier 3 that's, you know, one of the highest grossing, you know,
horror is back, is it not?
like, you know, like, you could get as bloody and disgusting as you wanted to.
Hails, yeah. Doctor Strange 4. Goes to the horror universe.
But then again, too, like, I don't like the cop-out of being like, he could just snap a finger and it's all undone or never existed. And it's like, that's a cop-out.
I mean, or like I said, we've got a multiverse.
Because
like, that's Earth 666. We don't go there. That universe is fucked up.
That's the universe I live in.
But yeah, that's about all we got for you this go around. This here Criollo de Oro, earthy, a little bit of spicy, kind of I'd say a cinnamon, maybe a hint of sweetness, like a little bit of a caramelly. It's not strong, I'd say medium plus, but it's got a good like flavor swath. So it's got enough flavor to keep you interested. So yeah,
Complexity.
If you want something that's not gonna like super overpower you, but it's strong enough or flavorful enough to keep you interested, then give one of these a try. And we will be right back with some science. And you've been watching the Cigar Nerds podcast. Check us out on cigarnerdpodcast.com and on the ESO Network, esonetwork.com. And don't forget, smoke them if you got them. Like, comment, and subscribe.